You'll have this overturned when pigs fly. This is going to seem really hard for you to do now, but later you're going to be glad you had this. I'm so happy you don't change your men like you do your decor. Never in my wildest dreams would I had thought this, and now I have never looked back and wish I'd done it sooner.
All right, so you've been here, you got here, you said in 2003.
Yes.
After Hawaii.
Yep.
Which we were in Hawaii at that same time.
I know.
Yeah, I know we talked about that. But we got there in 2001, and then we stayed a lot longer. But
yeah, you were there a lot longer than we were.
Yeah.
We were there just enough time to have a baby at Tripler Hospital, the big pink hospital on the hill.
Yep.
And 2003, we came back, and we've been rooted here ever since.
So you had your son at Tripler?
Yeah.
I had my son at Tripler.
You did?
Yep,
Isn't
the
that
Pink
funny?
Palace.
The Pink Palace on the hill.
Yep.
And my son is blonde-headed, blue-eyed, and would always, until probably, I don't even know what grade he was in, would tell people he was Hawaiian. And that he firmly believed I'm Hawaiian.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
I mean, my son's got a Hawaiian birth certificate, and his name's Kian, so that's a very...
Oh, yeah.
It sounds Hawaiian.
Yeah.
Hawaiians know it's not, because it's actually Gaelic, but a lot of American, like my husband's side of the family, they're like, oh, it's a Hawaiian name. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it sounds Hawaiian.
sure.
I love that.
It's actually Irish Gaelic.
Oh, okay. I would have been fooled
yeah.
by that. I would have thought for sure that was a Hawaiian name. It sounds like that.
He started elementary school, so he did all of elementary school and then middle school, and then we moved here. So we moved here when he was starting ninth grade.
Oh, okay.
And then our other daughters, they did a little bit of both. They started in Hawaii, and then they moved, and then they went back, and then they both graduated from Hawaii.
Oh my
from
gosh.
Campbell. So yeah.
That's wild. I didn't know I didn't know what we were going to do if he had to stay there another 3 years about schools. I didn't know enough about them. But I have a lot of friends that still have their kids there, and they've done great. So I just, it was unfamiliar to me. I'm like, I don't know what to do with private school or on base, or how we're going to do that with military. But yeah, we've been very fortunate with military rotations every few years. We've been very fortunate to stay put. Like, he had fortunate in the way that we were able to stay here for the whole time my kids started kindergarten and graduated Gloucester High School. We never moved
that's
once.
Almost unheard of.
Yeah,
but you did the sacrifice, right? With him being gone and you staying.
Yeah, we did the one time when Alexis got to high school, the 3 years apart.
Yeah.
Visiting, and then my son would spend the summers with him in Missouri, which was
really cool.
Odd for me, but we just made it work. We had an agreement that we would not go more than 2 months without seeing each other. So whether he flew home or I drove out there or flew out there, whatever we did, so we kept true to that. We just visited each other, and the other sacrifice was that the reason they left us here for a while is because he had 5 deployments.
Yeah.
And so it came with its price, but at the same time, we got to stay put, and my kids didn't have to shift schools ever. Yeah. They got to start where they finished, and that's why we're rooted here.
Yeah.
Like, so much history with them here. So,
no kidding. I mean, it's just, it's almost unheard of. So that's almost a blessing. It is a blessing. It's not almost, it is a blessing.
It's a blessing that it happened. We worked it out. He was safe.
And you're still married.
And 30 years, we're still together. And we've just, I wouldn't wish that on many people. I don't think many people could have managed it, but I knew where we were, and I knew we could do it, and we just made it work. And we just did.
Yeah.
And did great with it.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was worried that when he retired, I was worried, like, when he retires and he's home all the time,
what's it going to be like? No,
what's it going to be like?
Yeah.
Like, am I going to drive him nuts because I talk a lot, or like what? I don't know how it's going to be. And it ended up being amazing. So it was fine. I was worried for nothing, but I thought maybe the reason we get along so well is because
you're not together all the time.
I'm not together all the time. Yeah. And then when they come home, it's like another honeymoon. You know, you honeymoon a lot in the military if you look at it like that. I think that can help some people. Yeah. Some people can't handle it, but the separation. But I liked looking forward to a honeymoon again, you know, and I think that helped us. But when he retired, I was really worried, like, how's this going to be? I don't know how to do this all the time. You're here all the time. Mm-hmm. But it was great.
Yeah.
It was.
So I was more worried about when he retired. I was like, oh my gosh, you're going to drive me crazy because you're going to be around. And I just wasn't used to it. Yeah. So I think when he retired and then he took a contract position, but he couldn't work for a couple of months because it was towards the end of his military. He had all that time in like vacation time that he couldn't use, or that he couldn't use until the end. So it was like 3 months, I think it was. And he was literally just at home because he couldn't have two he couldn't be doing two
Right.
things or drawing two government paychecks or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not fun at all. You're like, you've got to go back to work. And so I don't know. I just, even when with furlough, with or with COVID or anything, I'm like, as long as he's got something to do, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I think because I'm really one of his only friends. And so,
Yeah.
like, I've got friends and I can go out and I can do all the things, but I'm really his only friend. I mean, he's got other friends, don't get me wrong, but they're just distant friends. They're not here, go hang out and have a beer kind of friends.
Yeah.
And so when it's constant and it's 24/7 with him, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is not going to be fun at all. But we survived, and we just celebrated our 31st anniversary yesterday.
Congratulations. So we're right around the same time frame with it all.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's one of those things we're just not, when we're as military wives, we're not used to them being home a lot.
No.
So we have trained our brains to be able to stand on our own 2 feet, work things out ourselves. There's been many times that, like, if I needed gutters cleaned out, I would get a ladder and go up there and clean out the gutters. Exactly. I wasn't much I was afraid of doing. I just got used to the independence. I could do this. Yep. And then when they're home, you're like, oh my gosh, now you're here and I don't have that
can actually
space.
That's the weirdest. Like, I think when I had friends whose husbands were like going away on a business trip overnight and they're freaking out, and I'm like, what's your problem? Like, when it's a year, talk to me. Or like even a week, like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do because he's gone for a week. I'm like, and
I'm like, that's so amazing.
Bizarre to me. Enjoy it. Cereal for dinner. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But we just live in a different world.
Yeah.
And I don't know any different. That's all I knew my whole adult life, because we got married at 20.
Yeah.
And he joined a couple of months after we got married, and that's all we've ever known.
Yeah. And you have no choice but to adapt to that lifestyle, and that's what we do. But I get cracked up at that too. I'm like, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, like that's repetitive honeymoon. Just when they're starting to kind of get under your nerve a little bit, you're like, and you vice versa, you're getting under their nerve because they're not used to being in your face all the time. And then it's like, then you get the break, and then you miss them.
You appreciate it more.
And you appreciate it more. And then they come home, and then it's like, it's not, to me, it was just fine. I didn't like the long, deployments. That 9 months in a year, that was terrible. But the short ones, I'm like, okay, it's fine. I can handle that. But I do get tickled at people like, oh my God, what do I do? He's not going to be here for a whole week. I'm like,
I
don't know.
Yeah, when am I coming over to drink on your back porch? I don't know. I never figured it out. But our kids are resilient because of it. Like, they moved. Our kids moved a lot, but not really. Like, we lucked out. We always PCS'd over school breaks. Like, they never had to move mid-year or anything like that.
Okay,
thankfully.
Well, that worked out good.
But then we were, we were very lucky in where we were assigned, and we were on the water all the time. Like, we were in California, then we were in Hawaii. We moved different homes 3 times in Hawaii, just things like that. So there was a lot of moving.
Gotcha.
The one thing that was consistent was our cat. We had a cat that showed up on one of our friends' porches, and we could tell that she was a family cat. She was just really sweet. Connie said, do you want this cat? And we're like, yeah. And I brought this cat home, and we spent more money on that cat. Well, because really home is where you are, cute. Right?
Yeah.
When you're military, because you're traveling so much and everything, there's no, like, even now, people are like, what do you want to do when you retire? Where do you want to go? I'm like, I don't know. Where's home? I don't know. Like, my husband's from Texas, but we only lived there for like 2 years. Like, that's not where home is. Home is, if we had to do that, it would be Hawaii, because we spent a long time there, like 13, 14 years there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like home either. So home is just wherever we are.
Yeah. You'll make it home wherever you are.
And the kids are wherever mum and dad are, that's where home is.
Yeah.
So
that's how I feel too. It doesn't really matter. But I did feel like I got adjusted really quickly to Gloucester and the vibe here.
Yeah.
And it was like the small town feel, but yet everything was conveniently located around me.
Yeah.
And I loved that whole dynamic of it, and the kids, I just felt it was a great place to raise a family.
But was he Navy?
Army. He was a Army master diver.
Okay, I knew he was a diver. That's why I thought Navy.
Yeah. He works for the Navy now.
Okay.
Which is ironically enough, like, he did his whole military career with the Army, but now he works for the Navy.
Funny. But so was he at Eustis?
Yep.
Or where was?
Yep,
Okay.
Port Eustis.
That's not too far.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Were you guys always at the Point, or were you up further in Gloucester?
Always down at the courthouse area.
Oh,
We've never
okay.
lived anywhere else. We lived, our first home was like a little rancher that we bought over in like Founders Mill area,
Mm-hmm.
like down on that side. And then we moved over to Belroy that was our last place. And then we just moved into our forever home 2 years ago. Just had the 2-year anniversary, which I love.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So what is that what got you, like, have you always been in real estate up there, or how long have you been in real estate then?
So I just got into my 6th year, like 6 years of real estate. And then prior to that was the 22 years in ophthalmology, or like 21 years in ophthalmology field. So that background was a passion of mine at the time.
Yeah.
Real estate came to me by complete accident, honestly.
Tell me about it.
I posted a lot of just knowing the right people and having the right people, like on even like your Facebook friends or whatever. But I would post things about things that I would design, or because that was a passion of mine too, is designing. And I used to love to take old furniture and remake it into something really cute, and had like that,
Can you refurbish furniture?
I can.
Okay.
It depending on what it is, but I used to do that all the time, and I loved it. I wish I had like, time on my hands to just still do that, but I just don't have. It takes a lot of time, but
and space, I'm assuming.
Yeah, a lot of space. You got to have a lot of tools and a lot of equipment around you. But I remember I had posted on Facebook about the doctor that I was with for 20 years retiring. I mean, close to it, and retiring, and kind of like, well, what do I do now? Like, where am I going to go now with this? Am I going to keep on in the same field?
What did you do?
I was a COMT. It was a certified ophthalmic medical technologist, which a lot of people like, what is this?
Is that the one who does your eyes at the beginning?
I start out with the preliminary examination, and then do the refraction for your glasses or a contact lens fitting, and all the little preliminary testing. And then in the surgery room, in the OR would be the one that would be there working with him on the cataract surgery, or the glaucoma surgery, or the retinal surgery, and things like that, depending on what was needed that at the time or whatever. But my main purpose was the preliminary exam, and then he would do the behind the eye exam. But I loved it, and I learned a lot and gained a lot of that and everything. But I made that simple post about how I was retiring, and then Shannon French, who's a good friend of mine and my current broker, had reached out, and she said, I just saw your post, can we have coffee? And I was like, okay.
Did you know what she did at the time?
I didn't quite know exactly what she was going to talk to me about. At first I thought she was going to ask me to help her, like maybe with just some staging homes and stuff like that, because I knew what she had done, because we've been friends for a while. And then she sat with me and she said, well, I kind of like that idea, because that's kind of what we were talking about. And she goes, but I think you'd make a really good realtor, like a real estate agent for the company. I think you would be a good fit. Have you thought about it? And I'm like, not a day in my life. I don't know anything about it. I wouldn't even be able to tell you anything. And she goes, I think you need to go for this. I really see this being a good fit for you. She said, think about it and let me know, and let's get you rolling with it. I'm like, all right. So by the time I hit Starbucks to my house, which was a time of about 5 minutes, I walked in the front door, and I looked at my husband and I said, I think I'm going to sign up for real estate school. And he's like, what? And because he's only known me to do ophthalmology. Like, that's my whole background. And he's like, I've never known you to talk about anything but eyeballs, like your whole life. Like, where is this coming from? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm very intrigued. Shannon and I had a good talk, and I think I'm going to pursue it. And I did, and I have never looked back. I immediately fell in love with it, and I think it's just a satisfaction of just helping people with some of the biggest investments that they're making in their whole lifetime, but being part of something so amazing with them. I just immediately loved it.
So you came on with Shannon?
So then I came on, once I passed everything, got through all of that, which was I was a nervous wreck. Got through that, and I remember taking my test, and it was like it was just threw me through a loop, because I remember taking it and hearing all the horror stories about how hard it is, and don't worry, you're going to probably fail the first time, but you'll probably get the second time, and just all these. I'm like, I don't even know what to expect. And I remember thinking the answers I could have had could have been either or. It could have been like two answers. I didn't know where to go with it. And I thought I've definitely failed because I doubted myself the whole time. I'm like, I've definitely failed. I'm sure I've marked the wrong thing. And I ran out of time. I couldn't even go back and recheck any of the answers that I was questioning. And the time ran out and I'm like, oh crap, I've really blown this. Like I'm going to have to retake this. And it said passed. And I'm like, whoa, okay, I did it. And I couldn't believe that. I was just so happy that it was over. And I remember immediately crying a little bit because I was like, this is relieved. So much stress, relieved. It was over. But anyway, we rolled together ever since. And she's been a great broker and a great leader with that. And we all work really well together at our little Southern Trade Realty is just I call it our bougie boutique kind of real estate firm.
Yeah.
And it's just so quaint and little family. And it's a good fit for me.
Yeah. And obviously this is not where you anticipated being at all. Like you said, you never thought you would be
not a clue.
realtor.
Never in my wildest dreams would I had thought this, and now I have never looked back and wish I'd done it sooner.
Yeah.
Because this way I get my passion of the design part of it and the staging part, which is what I started after I got my real estate license. I did that got my certification with home staging and design.
Okay.
And that was a big deal to me because I wanted to put the two together.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, like, well, how am I going to do real estate with all these other realtors and not have anything else to give? Like, what can I offer?
Yeah.
And that was a passion for me. Like,
but this sets you apart too, doesn't it?
I hope it does a little bit. I hope
don't know
that
a lot of other people who do it.
I know that I've seen where there might be some people that kind of go in and do some staging, and I think they do a great job with it. I feel like my passion was to basically just go it as hard as I could, like really just do a best job as I could for someone who wants to sell their house, because I do think it makes a difference.
Yeah.
But it was a way for me to incorporate both of my passions at that point. Like, this is something I can give to you as my incentive, because when I started, and I still do it this way, as an realtor for a listing, if someone lists their house and they do want the staging done, I don't charge them a penny for that. It's just, I'll come in, and even if it's vacant, I have all the inventory. I've grown so much with my inventory. We can do about 5 houses now, which has been
all out of your she shed.
Yeah. Well, the shed, and then we had some storage, but we also, the way my rotations work, I always have homes filled with furniture. Now, if all of them had to be emptied at one time, I'm probably struggling a little bit with that, but that hasn't happened, knock on wood, so far.
Yeah.
And but we just have been able to grow with that, and it's been what I feel has helped me grow in the field, because I feel like people do feel good about, okay, she's doing a little more than a sign in my yard. She's doing a little bit extra. And
some sweat equity.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Anything that I could do to help them, because I do think it makes a difference. If I walk into a home and it's kind of empty and it's just a shell of a home, it just has a different vibe to me.
Well, I think people need, like, I've seen those TV shows where they're like, oh my gosh, look at the walls. I'm like, it's paint. Like,
it's just
and
paint.
people can't see past that. So if they're walking into an empty shell, they're not able to envision themselves living there, then what you bring to the table is that vision, basically.
And I do try to tell it, like, people have to understand that when you're walking around with a potential buyer, I let them know it's a high percentage. I think the statistic was 96% of people do not have the vision to see beyond a paint color, something as simple as a paint color, or how to put furniture in a room.
Yeah.
And to them, they could walk in and immediately think work and walk out. Like, they just don't have that. So I think that's where it comes in handy, like, to help them have that picture already designed for them, so then they can walk in knowing what to do.
So tell me a little bit about your she shed, because we've had the privilege of being able to visit and go in there and see, like, how did it come to be, and how did you get everything for it? Like, what even made
Lordy goodness. Well, I've accumulated so much since I started this whole journey, and I remember the way that I managed it. And before, we had a subdivision with an HOA, so there was not going to be a place where I could put a big shed on there. And so I had to use storage units, which is an expense every month, and then it's like, by the time I started rolling with it and growing with it, I ended up getting up to 4. At one time I had 5, and it just became like, I need space, but we didn't have the property for it at the time. So when we moved to our forever home, that was one of my requirements. It has to have some land with it, and his too. That was his whole dream, to have, like, I need enough land to be able to do what I want to do and not be in an HOA. I can't do that anymore. But anyway, we moved over there to at their current home, and the first thing I said on the list was, I want my own shed, and I can't even tell you the dimensions of it, but it's just a good size shed that now I can have everything organized, and I got all my staging pillows and all my inventory, and I try to keep it,
it's
organized.
very organized. It is organized. It's not just like you're rolling up the door and it's like things are falling out. It's not like that at all. It's very organized. It's almost like you could go shopping there.
Well, it's the kind of the way that, like, if I change my decor a lot in the house, and my husband made a joke and said, "I'm so happy you don't change your men like you do your decor," because I'd have been gone a while ago. Yeah. But that's kind of the fun thing for me is to, if I get tired of something in the house, I can just go out to the shed and be like, okay, let's change this up a little bit. And that becomes now staging. And then I bring stuff, I kind of change it up more times than I should. So you've just
gone into the stores and found things that, like, on the daily, not daily, but like as you're going about your regular life. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I do.
Or have you gone out specifically looking for pieces? Or
sometimes it's a specific color scheme, maybe for a house that I'm getting ready to do, and maybe that color is not, I don't quite have what I'm got in my head yet, so I want to go shopping for that specific staging opportunity or something like that. But there's times when I'll just come across a good piece and I've got to have it, and I'll do that. And a lot of times it's marketplace.
Marketplace is amazing.
Like the marketplace vibe. Sometimes I can find good pieces there. But it's usually, I'm a TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Home Sense, any at home in Hampton is like a go-to. I don't know many people here go there very often, but it's a great place to get pretty much anything for your home. And if I see a good piece, I'm going to take it. And it's just so funny. I come out almost every time with a shopping cart full of pillows, and my husband says, "More pillows? Really? We need more pillows. Do you know how many pillows you have?" And it's kind of like the fetish for me is like, I love pillows.
So your homes are all decorated with pillows?
There's a lot of pillows.
Yeah, it's homey, it's cozy, it's comfy.
Thank you. I like a lot of pillows. My husband comes to bed every night and he's like, my routine is that I have to get the pillows off the bed. Like, he does not want to be dealing with pillows every night. So I'm like, okay.
Like 13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like, have you ever had a client that didn't need anything done? Like,
Yeah, actually just did. Like, there's sometimes I'll walk into a home and then I'll ask them, I'm like, hey, there's a difference in, I try to explain there's a difference in selling and living. When you're living in your home, if someone were to come into my house, I would have to do some things differently if I were going to sell it, It's a different way to just kind of, present it, it just is. Yeah. So I try to tell them if I change something, it's not saying
it's not an insult.
It's not an insult. It's not that your taste is bad or whatever, but I know what captures the eye in a photography session for real estate photos. Like, I know the color schemes. I'm going to know what's going to really grab a buyer's eye, and that's my goal. And a lot of times if you have too many of the pattern and all that, it's easy to get by that, but clean, crisp, like, we want to just brighten things up as much as we can. And that photograph, it's just more eye-catching. So if somebody comes in and they've already got their house super, super cute, then it's totally fine. It doesn't have to be perfect by any means. If they live there and they need just a little bit of polishing up a little bit, I can go into a home and be like, all right, you don't really need me to I don't need to bring in anything. But what I'll do is I would like to take this big piece out because it makes the room feel smaller.
Little bit more clutter.
And help them get it ready for photos in a different way. Yeah. Not everybody needs staging, but a lot of people do need guidance. And I think a lot of realtors have a hard time with that. I think they don't want to hurt their feelings, or they might insult them, feel like they're insulting them, and maybe they don't have that client. But when I go into a home, I feel like my approach is just, they also know me, but it's like they, because I only work with referrals. I mean, I don't work with just complete strangers. Like, my people, they know me and they know that I'm going to go in and do what I need to do for them. So I'll go in and say, this is super cute, but let's take this piece out. Let's train. I don't think the furniture placement is probably where we need it to be. Let me just change some things around, and they let me have what I need to do with that. And I mean, just little things sometimes can make a big difference. And especially the decluttering and helping them with all of that. I have the 3 Ds in my pamphlet. It's the declutter is a big one for selling. It is discarding. So when you get everything that you don't want really out anymore, go through it and be like, what can I donate? What can I discard? If it's worth, maybe someone else could be blessed with that item and you're not using it anymore, then it's worth donating. If it's something you're not picked up in the last year or something, or discarding if it's not
Just throw it away.
Yeah, if it's just garbage or something, if you're just holding on to it, just maybe like it doesn't really have a function anymore or a purpose, then just, get rid of things, and fix it better.
What is your suggestion? Like, I know we've been guilty of this, that we just get the house fixed up to sell and we don't get to enjoy it.
Oh gosh, it happens all the time.
Yeah, so this is the longest we've ever lived anywhere, believe it or not. And we're coming on 8 years, which is crazy to think that after 31 years, this is the longest we've ever lived anywhere. But we were just sitting around, over these last couple of cold, snowy days, and we're like, we can actually do this.
Yeah.
And enjoy it and not just get it done to sell. Does that make sense? Like we've had multiple homes, like we had Texas and 2 in Hawaii, and we would live in it because you just get going with life, right? And you don't think. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's going to have to go on the market. I've got to replace the floors, or I've got to do this, or I've got to paint that. And then the next people get to enjoy that, and you don't get to enjoy
fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens so many times. I cannot even tell you how many times I've walked into a home, and by the time I have finished with just getting it prepped and the staging and all that, they're like, well, now we don't want to go. We really
love it or list it show or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, I really think that this is so much, like, it just feels more cozy to them. But I always say living in it and selling it are always two different things.
Yeah.
It's just different. And, it's just a different vibe in general. But I get that a lot from that. And that happened to us in our other house. I had gotten I didn't even know we were selling our house. This all came by accident, really, and fell in our lap, the opportunity to move where we are now. But I had just redone some accent walls, finally making it just different.
Oh, speaking of, I want the color of your bathroom.
Oh, okay.
It's beautiful.
I love that color.
It's gorgeous.
It's succulent green.
Okay.
Sherwin-Williams succulent green. The thing about it, I got all these things done. I had the guest room that I redid. We did a accent wall in the kitchen. I felt like so many a whole new kitchen. I got to pick out my paint, which at the time, what I loved was pewter green by Sherwin-Williams, my cabinetry and quartz, everything. And then we found this other house and we have to leave. And I'm like, I just did all of this.
Yeah.
And now they get to enjoy it, which is ironic that the people that bought our house didn't know them before that. And then later their kids started coming to our church.
Oh, that's
And now
sweet.
we're all good friends.
You get to hang out in that kitchen still.
Yeah, it's really cute.
Good.
I just what a small world.
Yeah.
But that happens a lot.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I don't feel as bad now, especially if it happened to you. So when you show up for a client, like you said, they're all your friends, or not all your friends, but they know you.
Yeah.
So what if I was to refer somebody to you, or you were to get somebody, what would they be getting? Who would they be getting?
That's a good question. I feel like the first thing that they're going to know, that they're going to get someone who has, from my opinion of myself, is great work ethic. Mm-hmm. I don't go into it thinking that I'm entitled to your business. I'm not feeling like I'm going to earn it, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure you know that by the end of that transaction that I worked for you, that you are my priority, and that your thoughts and your visions and your goals are my thoughts and visions and goals, and that I'm going to do what I can to make that all come to light. And I feel like they're going to know that in that first initial visit. They're going to know by the time that they leave, I have my, I kind of laid out my marketing plan and all of that, but I think they're going to know that I do more than just put a sign there.
Yeah.
I'm going to be someone that's going to really go above and beyond and do everything that I can. So there's times when we become a little bit of a therapist. We become a little bit of a counselor. I've had to run kids to, hey, do you need me to run the kids here? Okay, no problem. It almost becomes immediate family. I cannot tell you how many times that I've gotten someone a referral, and then that person has become so close to me, and it almost becomes immediate family.
Yeah.
And that's the vibe that I hope that they get from me. They get more than a realtor. They're going to get someone that's going to, become part of maybe not family, but part of our world. And I'm going to make sure that
somebody who can come over on a Friday night with
I've done that, and it's so cool, and I just cherish that. Building that relationship with them, to know that, there's a little thing that I saw that was so true. It says, "Oh, she's just being nice because she's your realtor," but they have no idea. I'm I'm thinking about like, I wonder what their kids are doing this
Yeah.
year. I wonder what, how, if they're having a baby now, or if they've had their, you're always thinking about your clients because they become more than clients. They become your family.
Yeah, they're not just a number.
They're not just a number, and they've never been that with me. And I think that they know that. I think they're going to know, like, she's going to really, I'm hoping, I pray that that's what they think, that she's going to really get me to that finish line, and it's going to be not stressful, or if it is stressful, she's going to walk me through it, kind of thing.
I mean, I've met you multiple times now, and you show up the same way every single time. So it's not like, even when I showed up with a brownie and you were on your way to go pull weeds out of somebody's garden, remember? And you're like, oh, I don't look that great. But but you showed up as you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's
like
so
you
sweet.
were still who you are. So I think that's really important.
Oh, I love that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the only person I know how to be.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, and earlier you said that you have had more buyers than sellers. So
lately, it's
do you have a favorite like that you work with, or do you like doing the selling because you get to stage, or is it easier? Like, what's your favorite?
It's such a good question. Gosh, you have good questions. I look at, I actually work with some realtors and have realtor friends that are strictly like, oh my gosh, I only want to do listings, or oh my gosh, I only want to work with buyers. I hear that all the time. And you even have people that label themselves as buyers agents or listing agents, but I don't have a preference because there's rewards that comes from both sides of that. I do love the staging and being able to go in and, like, my creative outlet is released. I can go in there and do my thing for that particular client as well. But on the buyer side, there's something so rewarding about that too, being able to just give the keys over to someone who's getting ready to walk into their home. And especially like if there's, I get so excited to see kids, how their reactions are when they go in and they're like, this is my room, and they're just amazed with it. And I recently had a client who there was some glitches that kind of happened where it was almost it wasn't going to happen, and we were just like, oh my gosh, this has to happen. This is like the sweetest family, and I cannot see that this is not going to work out for them. And we really put our heads together, and we got all the kinks worked out, which I look as it's kind of like some people get really stressed out about the kinks, but I look at it as okay, this is a challenge. We're going to work through this. Yeah. Let's figure out what we've got to do. Let's put our heads together. And we worked through it. And then they got into the house like in December. And I was so tickled because I get the video of them walking in and saying, this is your home. They had no idea that their mom and dad had bought the home yet. They thought we were still showing property. Yeah. And they took the video of their reaction at that, this is your home, like welcome home. And then I got the little video for Christmas, them waking up Christmas morning with the Christmas tree in their living room. Like that's priceless to me. You just can't beat it. So I cannot tell you which one I like the most because I love them both so much.
Well, and I know, look, for me personally, we are a very client-facing business, right? So I am an introverted extrovert, right? So I don't like to do... I love people, but people drain me. And so I can spend time with people, but then I've got to go, and the way I charge is to be alone. And so I know with you, like, you're a very client-facing, client-forward. So how do you protect yourself and your energy when you're with people all day long?
Oh, gosh. And again, that's a great question because it's not a... 8 to 5 job or 9 to 5 job. We are accessible to our clients even at 10 o'clock at night. Like, I know that there's some people that don't do that, but if my client's going to message me at 10 o'clock, I'm going to take the message and I'm going to try to see what, so there's really not an off time that you have. But I would say the way that I kind of do that is through just our church family, like being part of that. And I think that gives me that sense of peace and like this, it's like a release because that's, stepping out of that. When we're at church, the phone is not in the church with me. Like that is my time. So that's definitely my time. Yep. I'm like, that's my definite downtime. And then I also think it's kind of funny because I really look forward to the evenings about 9 o'clock and I lay there on the couch with my 2 pugs. And I feel like that's kind of like my downtime. And so they make that's my relaxing time if I have that opportunity,
Yeah.
which I try to make that happen every day. But
And they're adorable too. So.
they're so rotten, but they're so sweet. I had someone say they're the ugliest dogs. Well, behold, it's the eye of the beholder.
That's
because to
right.
me, I think they're the cutest
adorable.
dogs. But they're very sweet, and that's when I get a little bit of downtime too. Is like just at night, just chilling with my husband, my 2 pugs, and then just having that quiet time in the evening. But again, my phone is there, so if something happens, I do try to be accessible. But that's probably the way, through church and maybe just through some quiet time at home.
And you've got to protect you do have to be you do have to protect that time.
Yeah.
And just like have those little boundaries, because I know that like we all have those clients who are going to push a little bit more, and you want to show up and you want to be there for your client and go above and beyond, but then there's got to be those soft boundaries maybe, or there's got to be boundaries to be able to just be able to function at your best too. Do you know what I mean?
And I think that's something I need to work on.
Yeah.
A little bit with that, because I have a hard time shutting it down just a little bit.
I have a hard time saying no, but like I find if we go out to like a networking event or something, I can totally sit and I can talk and I can do all the things, but Charles knows on the way home, Debbie's not talking because I've said all my words. I've said all the things. And so like we've often gone out to dinner with friends afterwards or something, and I'll just sit there and eat, and they'll just hold conversation because I'm just mentally exhausted. So I know if you're showing families house after house after house after house, like all day for a couple of days, that's got to get,
It does, but I will tell you that if I'm ever quiet, my husband's going to think I'm ill.
That's a good point.
He's going to be like, "What? Are you not feeling well? Like you're being very quiet." And sometimes I get very mouthy just because I hadn't seen him all day.
So
and
you've
you're
got
talking
all the words for him.
Yeah. Now I need my words for you. Now you need to listen. And he's probably at home like, "Okay, I've also been working all day, and I need quiet." But then I'm like, "I haven't seen you all day," and now I'm a little chatty, probably more than I need to be with him. But for a first hour or so, it's like it's conversation with him
funny.
that I got to get my words for him.
Yeah.
But and it's not real estate talk. It's like
it's life.
It's life talk,
Yeah.
and it's a different kind of vibe. But yeah, if I'm ever quiet, I think he would worry about me and think she's not feeling good or something, or what happened. It must have been catastrophic for you not to be talking to me right now.
That's too funny. Well, and I know I said earlier that I showed up at your house and you were dressed to garden. But I think
the brownie, it was the sweetest thing. My favorite brownie. They're my favorite. They're the best.
But how important is it for you, like the image that you portray? Like we did the headshots today.
Yeah.
Like when we take headshots for a realtor, we always like to know, or for anybody, but you're a realtor, so let's use that for example.
Yeah.
We want to know, like, what image do you want out there? Like, do you want to be like bossy and sterny, that's not even a word, bossy and stern? Do you want to be like high power, high broker? Do you want to be soft and approachable? Like, do you want to be friendly? Like, because you have buyers and you have sellers, you almost have to be multifaceted.
Yeah.
So like today we did smiles, we did no smile. Like, how important is it for you to to really show up in photos, but be you? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think it's very important. I think I would like to say all of the above. I'd like for them to see all of those images, but my main focus when I just want them to see like someone who's confident, like someone who's feeling like I'm comfortable in my shoes. I can handle what I have coming at me. And I think that's part of being a military wife. The challenges that we have been thrown through this whole time. I mean, not just any... I give a lot of credit to military wives and military spouses, because we get thrown some curveballs that, you've got to be able to roll with that and work through it. And it's not just for anybody. No. And I think that's something that I've taken with me through real estate, is that I can take those curveballs, and I want them to see that. I want them to see that's a confident woman, and you can tell. And then when you see the ones with the smiles, like, but she's nice, she's friendly,
she's very friendly.
And she's like happy, but I want them to see that, I actually had a client, was one of the best compliments. He was saying, you're one of the nicest people, but there's a bulldog in there.
Yeah.
And he's like, and for
Because
me,
you're
that's what I
tenacious.
need. Like, I think so.
Yeah.
I think that. And I thought that's really a cool compliment. Like,
Yeah.
I like that. I like having a little bit of both.
Yeah, because I think like the photos we took, it wasn't like, and I know I specifically said we don't want to look mean, right?
Right.
But I think what it was, it's that tenacity and that you're going to fight for your client.
Oh, yeah.
And you need them to see that, but you also need to know that, they need to know that you're approachable and that you're
Right.
friendly and everything. So,
That's important to me. A good
Yeah.
balance. I want them
Yeah.
to know that they've got both in me.
because you have to go to battle for them because
Oh.
they don't know what they're doing. I couldn't listen.
Oh,
First of all, I'm not going to read all those words. I'm going to trust, and this might be the worst thing ever, but I'm going to trust that you read them and that and I'm just going to sign when you tell me to sign. I'm not reading those words. I once was an elementary school teacher, and my principal would send the vice principal up if she sent an email, because if there were not pictures in that email, she knew I was not going to read it.
Oh, that is hilarious.
So when we've bought a house, I am trusting the real estate agent is not going to lead me astray. So I trust that
And
you've
that's
read the words
important.
and you understand, because there are lots of big words that I don't know. It's a genre that does not make sense to me.
Yeah. It doesn't, I mean, it's, if you're not doing it every day, I mean,
Yeah.
how many times are you buying a house? It's
Yeah.
maybe a couple times in your lifetime. So that verbiage is very confusing,
Yes.
and they throw in all, and it changes all the time. I think that's why it needs to be that you are working with someone that you trust wholeheartedly, because laws change all the time, and they're always refining this and changing that, and you need someone to know what those changes are and be able to keep up with that. So that's so funny that you say that. I don't think you're alone in that.
No, I don't
think a
I
lot
am
of people
either.
are like that.
I don't. But I mean, but you need to be trusted and you need to
Yeah.
be trustworthy. And I feel like that's really important. And that needs
Yeah.
to be able to be projected. Not so your photo doesn't need to be sleazy or slimy looking.
Oh,
Do you know
no,
what I
that's
mean?
that's a
Like
definite
cheesy
no for
looking.
me.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want that to be my image.
No.
I'm not one to feel like I need to, exploit myself to be
Yeah.
able to. That's not the vibe
be
I want
something that
at
you're
all.
not, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. It's
So-
me. I want to be like confident and just talking about going to battle to someone. Just a story to kind of back that up is that I found it interesting sometimes because you'll hear the story about the whole thing with the new law that was passed where it became like you don't need a realtor and all this stuff. But I find it hard. The one thing that I think back to is the time that I had a client who we had a low appraisal that came in, and it was about a $25,000 difference. And I looked at the report and I realized that inspector, the appraiser, didn't go down into the basement area at all. And that basement was finished with a beautiful bathroom, a laundry room, a bedroom, storage room, and even though the same value doesn't go into that, it's still value. And there was zero. And his comment was, "It's just a bunch of storage down there." I'm like, "No, you must not have walked down to the basement."
Yeah.
It was a total lie. I knew it was, and I had let him know that. I told my client, I'm like, "Don't worry, I know exactly how we're going to handle this." And it was the paperwork in motion, and it was like, and even going to the VA in Roanoke, like it was a fight for my client because I knew that we were right and that he did not do. And his comment to me was, "You'll have this overturned when pigs fly." And I'll never forget that. And that fueled my. It was just fuel to my fire. Like, okay, we're going to see who's going to eat those words.
Yeah.
And then I did everything that I got all my ducks in a row and got my paperwork ready, and we protested it, and we went to the VA and we won, and we got it turned over, and it was the wrong appraisal by far, and we ended up getting it brought in at value, and everything went. It delayed us in closing for a little bit, but I told him, I'm like, I'd rather delay us a week to 10 days or something like that, for however long we got to work this out, then
Drop it and
then just accept it, or you lose money. Like you're
Yeah.
going to lose a lot of money if you accept this as it is. And I didn't want to see that happen either. So I think that's the key, is like having someone who knows what to do to work out those problems. And that's not going to just come with anybody.
yeah.
Like you have to know how to navigate through those things.
Yeah. So when you asked today for something that was a little bit more edgier than you normally do, I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. I was excited to see that. How do you know when a photo feels like you, though?
Oh my gosh. I think it's just a matter of just how it feels, makes you feel. Like the ones that you took today were just, in my mind, I saw it and what I want to do, but I thought, can I get that portrayed in a photograph? Like what I'm thinking.
vision.
And you did exactly that. You took what
I just clicked the camera. You stood there.
You brought it out. It was just perfect. And I was just like, that's what I had in my head. Like, I wanted that, I don't know, that feeling of it, just a feeling that you get when you see it. Like, when I saw that, what you showed me, I was like, that feels confident to me. I just love that. Yeah. And you captured that. You brought it right to life. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Do you think your image has changed as you've matured as a realtor? Like, do you think it's changed over time?
I don't know if
Do you think you would have been able to pull something like that off 6 years ago?
Maybe I wouldn't have went for it. I think it might have been in there in me somewhere, but I don't know if I would have been maybe the nerve to try to bring it out into a photograph or whatever. But I think I've always, in the beginning, you're a little intimidated. You're kind of this newbie.
By Shannon?
Yeah. Yeah.
Shannon's not intimidating.
That's exactly how it's like, very, and then you're in a new world you know nothing about, and you're learning along the way and you're growing. And I think that's been my goal every year, is the growing. And I think I'm at a point when I'm like, you know what? I feel this is very comfortable for me now to have that image in a photograph. Like I getting a little braver, I guess, maybe, or a little bit more confident, maybe.
I think that just comes with age too.
Yeah, maybe that too. And some experiences. Now that I look back and I'm like, I'm going to be a little bit different in my photograph versus, I don't know. It's always a smile, and I love the smiles, and I'm always smiling, and that's one thing. But I did want to show a little bit of a different, side.
Yeah. I think one of the things about growing older or getting older and getting older gracefully, it's just all the experiences that we've gone through who have brought us to where we are today. And as military spouses, both of us, like, that was obviously, I would never, ever, ever as a child thought this was where I was going to end up.
Oh, gosh.
If you had told me, no.
No, me either.
No.
I was going to be a teacher.
Me too.
Really?
I have a bachelor's in education. Yeah.
I knew I was going to teach elementary, and I was going to be around kids because I love kids. I think that's why it's great that I'm with our youth group at our church, because I just adore them all, and they just, oh God, they're scrumptious. But then
they also get to go home to their own parents.
They do.
Too, so there is an element of that. Wait till your grandbabies come. That's the fun part.
I'm looking forward to that. My daughter got married in October, so they're like waiting for that stage to happen. They're working on it now, so I cannot wait for that.
So fun.
So
it's so worth it.
I'm so excited for it. They'll be so spoiled, and I know they will be. But I was going to be a teacher.
And don't even feel bad that you didn't do that stuff for them.
Oh, yeah.
At all.
I think that would be hard, like maybe a little guilt, like I didn't.
But we're at different points in our lives now than we were when, I don't know about you guys, but when we were raising our babies, we didn't have 2 red cents to rub together. You know what I mean?
Oh,
we were living paycheck to paycheck, especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, they messed up. We went from California to Texas, and they told him that he could bring us with us. It was a 6-month class in Texas, and we lived there for 6 months with him in an apartment and everything, and then we went to Hawaii. Wow. And then when we get to Hawaii in November, and they're like, oh, you weren't supposed to take your family to Texas with you. You were supposed to go by yourself, and we're going to garnish your paycheck for the next 2 months until we get paid back. So we had no money over Christmas for rent, like all of this. I mean, obviously that was very long time ago, but
still,
I would never have thought we would, where we are today compared to where we were.
No. So I know we didn't. We talk about it all the time that we did not know we'd end up. We always thought we'd go back to our home in West Virginia, like that, with our family. And then career change. Never in a million years would I have thought this. Never in a million years would I have thought I got into ophthalmology. I had like a little experience in the eye world, and I was so drawn to, eye health, for some reason, like vision. And like, I think because my eyes, I have such horrible vision my whole life. And like my mom and dad had 20/20, and I'm like always joking with my mother that the milkman must have had Coke bottles or something like that. And she hates that joke, but I always tease her.
So you wear contacts?
I wear the contact lenses, but without them, I can't even see the E on the eye chart. Like I see, it's just really bad. And I think that was intriguing to me. A lot of people don't know that about me. But anyway, it was very intriguing to me when I first got in to that kind of field, was just that the idea of understanding how it works and understanding how to make vision better. And I was very pulled into that and I stayed with it for all those years. And I think it's a fascinating field to be in.
Yeah.
Very rewarding, and I loved all that part of it. But
did you ever work with colorblind Like
Oh, yeah.
the colorblind glasses
Oh, yeah.
or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, most of our clients had to have, or patients, listen, I'm saying clients, not patients. It's hard to reverse that, but color blindness testing, you had to perform that, of course. And then we worked with a lot of people that were colorblind.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how many people really are colorblind.
Well, my husband's colorblind and my eldest daughter is colorblind, but we didn't know she was colorblind until she was in 7th grade. And she kept asking for glasses, but her friends had glasses, so we thought she just wanted glasses because everybody wanted glasses, or everybody had glasses. And so we finally take her in, and the doctor's like, not only is she blind, basically, but she's colorblind. And we're like, you talk about feeling like a bad mom. Like, I thought she just wanted glasses like all of her friends, but nope, she really needed them. And so...
But that's how it was for me, too. Like, my sister had gotten some glasses. She was a little farsighted, and I remember she got glasses, and immediately I could not see the board at school, and I wanted glasses. My mom did the same thing. You just want them because your sister wants them. And then finally the teacher had to write a note about how I failed every eye test they tried to give me, and then she took me, and I didn't even see the E. I mean, I was already that blind. But I didn't know that was how, and I remember that moment of thinking, I just thought that's how everybody saw.
Yeah.
And I remember getting my first pair of glasses and looking out the window, and I went, Mom, there's leaves on the trees.
Yeah,
that was my comment.
Crazy.
Like, there's leaves on the trees. I can see them. And to me, it blew my mind. So I think I was always a little drawn to that part of us because I lived through that. And then and to be able to help someone else see better or whatever was very rewarding. And real estate's like that. Like, very rewarding. I mean, it's something that you just feel good at the end of the day when you've helped someone navigate through a problem or just get to the closing table and get the key. And there's so much to make you feel good at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think with real estate too, it's not always, sometimes it is a joyful experience, right?
Oh, yeah.
But sometimes it's the end of something, and it's sad, and it could be the death of a family member, it could be a divorce, it could be anything like that, and you have to navigate all of those waters with your clients as well, right?
And all the emotions that go along with that. I thought you were going to say some are easy breezy and then some are like very hard to, I thought you were going to say that. And I was like, oh yeah, you have some of those too. But you have people that are going through life-changing experiences. And so you have to be able to navigate through that. And with that, the emotions of it. And it's hard because we are very empathetic people and heart full of love for so many, and it's hard you have to kind of keep that emotion the best you can out of it. At the end of the day, it's hard to do that, but you can't let that get in the way of making a good decision on their behalf, or helping them make a good decision. Because emotions can definitely sometimes make the wrong choices for your life.
Absolutely. But I think that's where it helps if you remain impartial. Because I know, like, I might like something and you're like, but it's probably not going to be the best decision right now, or there's going to be something, I don't know, sometimes you can see things that we can't,
right,
or vice versa.
And vice versa. Definitely. It's like the voice of reason, just kind of like, okay, let's think this out, like let's come up with your plan and try to stick to your plan. And sometimes that works out just as perfectly as it could be, and sometimes you get hiccups along the way. But for me, it's a challenge of working through the hiccups. If I can, I don't know. There's something about some people get afraid of that, or they find that's over stressful, and it can be. But at the end of the day, I find I'm just kind of, there's some satisfaction in knowing that I was able to help them get through some of the toughest little times there, and it's just rewarding.
Yeah. Well, I know that you've gone through a lot of hard experiences yourself.
Sure.
Do you feel comfortable sharing any of that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's a testimony that we have. My husband and I, one of the biggest challenges and heartbreaking experiences of our whole entire lives was that we ended up getting pregnant at our late stage in life. That was just kind of surprising to us.
How old were your kids when that happened?
Oh, Lordy goodness. Well, I was 43, and when we found out we were pregnant with Waylon, so my kids were 20 and 24.
So this was a bonus baby.
Oh, Absolutely. And absolutely. And it was a roller coaster kind of thing because we were told, pretty much everything's looking great. And we're so excited at that point, not knowing we wanted a baby.
Yeah.
But
you didn't know what you wanted until you had it.
Yeah. And then it just fell into their life. And we're like, oh my gosh, so grateful. And my husband was so excited too about having that baby because he was always gone with our two.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'll be home. I'm retired now. I can be home with this one. And everything was sort of, just going back a little bit with my husband, I've always been raised in church, and I was always had that faith as my foundation, and my husband did not. He's a biology major, and everything was very scientific to him. He was not convinced of his faith or if any of it existed. He just wasn't on that page, but we still made it work. I respected that. He respected mine, and I didn't try to force him to go to church or anything like that. We just respected that we had different views. But Waylon came into the picture, and about 16 weeks into the pregnancy, we were told that he had a heart defect. They found in the test that they do, how they do the scans and everything, and it was a heart defect that wasn't really going to be it would be next to no chance of probably him surviving. So they were preparing me for probably losing him at any moment, like it could happen tomorrow. And it was just kind of brought to my attention that way. And they talked about different testing that they could do. And they even talked to me about terminating the pregnancy. That was a hard conversation to have. They were that adamant that he's not going to be able to
Not
have.
compatible with life.
Right. And so we had decided that we were just going to give it to God. We were like, we're going to just keep our faith in this situation. God put him here for a reason, and I'm not going to question that. God doesn't make mistakes, so I know there's a purpose. I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to make that kind of decision. I want to, if I even get to hold him for a minute, it'll be just amazing to me as his mama. So I just kind of went through all the awful roller coaster of emotions, because every visit you have, you're hearing the doom and the gloom, and you're hearing very little positive. There's not really much positive news that we would get. It was always like, I'm surprised he's still here, and he's still kicking, very active. And I was able to carry him till about 28 weeks. And then I had a medical emergency I had developed preeclampsia. And ended up having life-threatening issue myself. So in that event, we had to do an emergency cesarean. So when Waylon when he was brought into the world, he really didn't have the vitals that were showing up on when they were doing their, they look at the overall condition and health, and he didn't really show up any of the numbers there. And I was in the middle of getting, back together again. And they called Roger over and they said, Dad, take a picture of your son, because I want Mom to have a picture of him, like at this stage of what is life, you know? And, but we're going to probably call the time of death. And I remember the time was like 9:18. So it was like 9:28. They were going to call the time of death. And, because they'd been working on him, and there was like nothing, right? So my husband, through this whole time, we were praying hard. And I've never even prayed with my husband before, and I never even known him to pray. And he prayed. And I started seeing that in him. Like he just, you get put to a point where you just call on, you just call on someone, and God was there. So anyway, he went over to that where Waylon was laying, and Waylon's laying there with basically just no life in him. And he called out really loud. I remember hearing loud. I just remember hearing that to God, and said, God, just please let him live long enough for his mother to see him. And the nurse said, I'm so sorry. No, but the nurse said, oh my God, we have a heartbeat. And said, his O2 stats are coming up. We've got to get him to the NICU. This baby is coming around. Wow. In that moment. So I didn't even know any of this was really going on, but they labeled him as the miracle baby because he was expected to have no life. And we ended up having him, and although his heart condition was not repairable, and plus he had like another, in his DNA, there was like something with the genetic that popped up. But anyway, thank you, so sorry. But anyway, he saw a miracle before his eyes, my husband did. Yeah. I think he just saw that was something that in front of me, I just saw like almost to pronouncing him dead to oh my gosh, we got a heartbeat. Let's get him to NICU. So we ended up having 4 days with Waylon, and we got to, read him stories every night and change a diaper. And he was moving. I remember one morning I walked in and he was fighting with the, they had him on the heart, machine, but they was fighting with the tubes. He wanted the tubes out of there. And that's what broke my heart as a mom. You never want to see someone that you love so much hooked up to all of that stuff. But through that, my husband, Waylon was born May 22nd. He passed May 26th. And in June, my husband was saved.
Wow.
And baptized. And now he is we're youth leaders at our church, and he teaches Sunday school for the adults one Sunday a month. And I mean, it's just the growth in him has just been unreal. So I look back and everyone wonders, we do have to go through things in our lives. We do. And some people wonder, why would that happen? But I look back and the purpose, I feel like for Waylon was to,
for his daddy,
save dad.
Yeah.
And we're going to see him one day. That's our thought process was that, I know everybody has different ways of believing, but we believe he's in heaven and we're going to be there with him one day. So now we see the big picture in that. While we went, what was the purpose? The purpose, it wasn't meant for us to keep him here on earth, but he, you pray for a healing, and we prayed so hard for a healing, and their mentality on that whole experience was that he did receive a healing. Yeah. It's a heavenly healing, and that at that time was okay. It wasn't what I wanted, but I was so ready for my baby to have peace and be healed. That if that's the way it had to happen, I had accepted that, and he did too. And we've grown so much from that, just knowing that, I don't know. It was just the whole time there was a miraculous thing. Yeah. I almost died from it was split second, and God spared me for a reason. And I always feel like, that's kind of my goal is to live my day thinking of that. You have got me here, and we all have that. We all have a reason to be in here, and there is a reason. And I just hope that, each day he guides me through each day to know what it is. And I feel like guiding me into real estate was a big part of his journey for me because of all the people that I've been able to help. Yeah. And I just think it's kind of my calling for right now.
Yeah. One of the things that I had the privilege of over in Hawaii, we would do the Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep.
Oh.
And it's an organisation that goes into hospitals when a baby passes away in utero or shortly afterwards, and we would go in and take the photos. And it was such a beautiful experience because it's an intimacy that is heartbreaking because you don't ever want to be a part of or invited into that, but it's an intimacy that is so precious.
Oh my gosh.
And we would go in, and everybody grieved differently. And I think that was the first time I really got to see it, because we would have some families where the nurses would, there's the baby, the parents want nothing to do with the baby. They were so grief stricken that they didn't even want to be with the baby. And so I would just photograph the baby. I would pick that baby up. I would hold that baby. I would love on that baby like that baby was real. I didn't know any different, to the point that my kids would say, is that baby dead or alive, when I was editing photos, because that's how much I just didn't even see it while I was photographing. And we'd get calls in the middle of the night if a baby was coming that was going to pass away, and we'd get those photos, and we would always tell the mums or the families, you don't ever have to look at these photos, but you cannot go back and get them.
Wow.
So it was such a privilege to be a part of it. And then there was this one time that I went into the room, and they were having this big old party. They were celebrating. It was a celebration of life. There was laughing. There was, they were sad, but there was laughter. They were praying. They were all together. And I actually had to step out and make sure I was in the right room. But they were believing. They were faith believing. It was a beautiful experience. I also got to photograph the King of Tonga's great-great-granddaughter. She'd passed away. So I'm sitting there what are we waiting for? And then the King of Tonga walked in. So it was
a wild experience.
It was beautiful.
What a blessing.
But I was one of 4 people on the island who did that. And so, but we were getting calls at least once a week. And it all started because one of my best friends, she lost a baby at 32 weeks, and I had my first at 31 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
And she lived, but my best friend's son didn't. And she will tell you if she was to leave her house in a fire or for any reason, that one thing she would grab is that photo of her son, because she can't ever go back and get that.
That is such a good way of looking at it. You know, my regret is not, and I know this sounds so, I think about what you just said, what a blessing you were to people, because I remember they came in and they asked me of doing a foot molding of Waylon's feet and all this stuff. And they said, listen, this is going to seem really hard for you to do now, but later you're going to be glad you had this. I'm so thankful for that, but I didn't get the photography done, and I wish I had. And I remember when they brought Waylon, because we did have Waylon cremated, and I remember they brought Waylon in, and the regret that I have is I told my husband, I said, I just want to get my phone and take some pictures of him without all the tubes, and all that hooked up to him. And my husband was like, I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I just feel like he just had a feeling of a certain way. He almost felt like it was going to be harder for me in a way. And I didn't. And now I'm like, I wish I did. Because now I'm in a part of my life where I can look at that and be okay. And know where he's at. And I wish I had that. So a lot of the people that you don't realize, maybe at the time, it was hard. And they probably weren't ready to look at those photos. But they can now, I'm sure. And what you've given them is a gift, a treasure that no one could ever give them, ever. They would never have that. So what a blessing.
It really was. It was amazing.
That was, wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Do you think that this experience has changed you to how you show up for people?
I think that experience has changed me in every aspect of my life. But I remember feeling like, that whole experience from him, someone said, how are you doing? My answer was, I'm just different. I'm fine. And
you don't ever want to be a part of that club, do you?
No.
But when you're there, you don't know how to live without it.
Exactly. And it's kind of the way it is. And different, but okay. And now things are just different. And it's like the way that I, look at things. I just look at things a little bit differently now, and it's in a good way. It's a more positive way of knowing. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like I talked about being raised in church and having the faith and all of that. I did, but is it at this level? No, I feel like my relationship with God in general has grown. A lot of times people have the opposite effect. They would draw away from that, but it drew me closer because I feel like I know that was an experience that. I'm not saying this to be, over dramatic, that I probably could have died from that. I mean, it was just that awful of an experience, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, and it just mentally, physically, everything about it, emotionally. And I feel like because I had that faith with him and I leaned in on that, that's what pulled me. That's where I got my strength from. And my husband was amazing through all of that, my family and my friends. But I felt like that relationship grew through something so traumatic, and I think that's helped me in all aspects of every part of my life, honestly.
If you could stage a home inspired by any movie or TV show, what would it be and why?
Oh my gosh. On the spot thinking. I'm just trying to think. I don't watch a lot of TV, so I'm trying to think of a show. What did you say? So I like this is so embarrassing, but like the movies that I like are the older movies, like Dirty Dancing, Pretty Woman, way back in that era. I don't watch a lot of TV, so I'm trying to think. Like I know that people like all know Joanna Gaines and Fixer Upper and that vibe of I like her vibe on things and how she switched it up and stuff like that. So I know that I can relate to that. But when I turn on the TV for many, many years, I'm boring. I watch some home shows and I watch the news with my husband, and I very rarely watch TV shows.
That's okay. Do you know what came to mind?
What?
My mind straight away?
What?
The Brady Bunch. It was all I could think about. Yeah, when I first read it.
Everybody Loves Raymond came to mind because I do watch that. Sometimes it's funny, but that's not a show. That's not a house that I would be inspired.
Yeah, that's too funny. All right, rapid fire. This is like
I'm horrible with
either
rapid
or.
fire.
No, this is either or.
Okay.
And this may not even work for you because you don't watch TV. So
I don't do a lot of TV.
Netflix or YouTube?
Oh, Netflix.
Early mornings or late nights?
Late nights.
City life or country life?
Country life.
I figured. Pop music or country music?
Country.
Road trip or flight?
Ooh, gosh, I love them both. I would say road trip.
Okay. Modern decor or farmhouse style?
You know what what my answer is to that? Modern farmhouse. I
Really?
like the little bit of combination of both.
There you go. Sweet snacks or salty snacks?
Sweet,
Me too.
unfortunately.
No, me too. Sneakers or heels? Because you look good in both. So pick your poison.
I used to always wear heels with every single outfit, but as I've gotten older, I'm going more to sneakers.
And you look cute in sneakers. You showed up in sneakers. Texting or the phone?
I'm a texter.
Summer or fall?
Summer.
Winter.
Yeah. I like warm
summer.
weather. I like the sun.
Yeah,
like I said,
do
I'm
too.
solar powered.
Yeah, I do too. Ocean or lake?
Lake.
I thought you'd say that.
Yeah.
That's all. So you passed. It's
Yeah.
all good. So where can people find you if they would love to work with you?
Well, our office, I work with Southern Trade Realty. That's in the beginning of Ware Neck. That's in Gloucester. I don't really do a lot of probably the different.
Social media.
I do.
You
the
have
Instagram.
a funny social media on Instagram, though.
I try to do.
She's a lot of fun to follow on Instagram.
I try to do. I need to do more of those, but I like to do my Instagram, my Facebook. I think that's where I get like more of the followers from that. I don't do a lot of things on YouTube. I don't do anything that really, but so the Instagram, the Facebook, and then our serving areas, like I'm doing Middle Peninsula. I do a lot with military. That's kind of our background.
Yep.
It's my foundation. So a lot of Hampton roads and getting people military transfers and
Great.
so on military sites, I guess.
Yeah. And if you do end up following her on Instagram, you can see if Roger is going to lose a bet and he has to be in the video. Isn't
And
that
that's
right?
it. If he loses a bet, he has to do a reel with me because he
That's
hates
right.
doing them. But that's my game with him. And
That's
you'll
fun.
see that he loves it. If you watch his reaction,
He loves it.
He loves it.
He's a good sport.
He is.
Well, thanks for
he's
being
great.
with us. I had a lot of fun
you.
chatting with
Sorry,
you.
we got into like a little bit
No.
of that emotional part of it,
It's
but this
all
was a lot
good.
of fun. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me
You're
and
welcome.
helping me with my photos today.
Absolutely. I can't wait for you to see him.
You're the best. You guys are the best. Thank you.
Okay. So
I do have a hair light going to her back shoulder.
is that good job right there?
Yeah, try to start right there.
I'm going to do a little bit of both. And then I want you to pretend like it feels weird. It feels really weird, but I'm shooting from here.
If it feels,
It feels
stupid.
stupid. It looks amazing. But just kind of look off. Like, yep. See, you look like Candace Burr in this one, please.
Well, thank you for that. I
You
love her.
do. No, I do too. I do too. Do it again. Bring your face back just the tiniest bit. Yep. Keep coming a little bit. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I love it too. I should just do this.
Oh my god, that was so fun! I cannot believe you got that! I'm gonna cry. Don't let me cry. That is like, I don't have anything like that. I've done, that's like that. I don't know. Thank you so much.